I'm sorry for being the Pollyanna here, kind of, but there is hope here because there's little incremental change now that you're starting to see it, and it happens like always in different communities at different times. But you know, now 5 years ago, certainly, you know, we've been working with what people now call wearables since the 90s, since the activity monitors that exist now that are basically free. We bought things with timestamp activity back then. They were analog. It was crazy how we had to do. And that was when we went uphill in the snow twice, you know, both ways to go to school too. But no, it's really true though. In the early mid 90s, we bought these things and they cost $5,000 a piece for the really, really good ones. And we'd spend, but now, and we would dose activity like you were dosing a drug, right? Now, you know, fast forward through the 2000s, certainly through the 2010s, and right now up until 2020, a lot of people have access on them or around them to an accelerometer and these devices, you know, these gyroscopes or accelerometers now are, you know, counting steps and counting activity very accurately. And it's getting to the point now. And if you can't you can't manage what you can't measure. And we are seeing very real, and it's in privileged kind of communities now, but it's starting to trickle out into all kinds of places where people have a watch where they can track their activity, and people might want to be just a touch more active, just like people that, you know, you can roll your eyes at these hybrid cars, right, at a Prius. But what does it do? It gamifies fuel economy in a way. And so people want to like maybe have a little bit, they used to call it hypermiling when they first got those cars. Kind of people were goofing around with those things so they got even better gas mileage. Well, the same thing's happening now slowly with these wearables in that we are gamifying, and you can get maybe better health economy. And
you're Billy Beaning life.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, exactly. Well, I know. God knows if you could sabermetric this stuff, which you can now. It's crazy, and you can be your own Billy Bean, right? And that is exactly what's happening. And so
it sure changed my behavior.
There you are.
And
see,
this thing buzzes me every hour if I haven't walked enough.
It's an
we have a grant starting right now. I'm keep looking at let me look right now. I keep looking to see when I'm going to hear from Teresa Jones at the NIH sometime, hopefully today. But we are getting a federal grant where we are giving people offloading devices and randomizing them into devices that are kind of traditional devices to protect their feet with diabetes and wounds to heal them, and some that we lock on them, like force them right into being compliant or adherent, and then another one where we give them the same device that takes pressure off just as well, but giving them a smartwatch along with it so that it will give them little prompts, giving them a happy or a sad face when they're wearing it or not, and alert them and alert their caregiver when they're wearing it and when they're not, and trying to coax them into being a little bit more, adherent to the thing. And we'll see. We'll see what happens in this.
I think, that the whole point of even whether we're taking care of our patients, we always tell them it's not a one-way street. I can't do it all for you. You're engaging the patient. And I love the idea, you said it, you're gamifying it. You're making it fun for them in a sense, or you're challenging them. We all like to compete. Against ourselves. It's a good thing.
These folks are not like trying to be like intentionally, as frustrated as you might get. And God knows, I'm sure it happens all the time. I like it does with us, but folks are not trying to intentionally deceive us. There's not some like evil cabal.
Exactly.
Folks that are getting together, or they're not trying to. There are very real problems with executive function in some patients, with very severe complications of diabetes. Number one, with decision making. Number two, very real problems with more than half of our patients. Whether they can put on a front, but more than half of them are clinically depressed,
Oh, for sure.
And they're just totally down in the dumps.
Yep.
And they're just not going to make the same decisions that they would if it were they, right-headed. Number three, they're in a position to where they're not able to do what we prescribe them to do. They've got to drive, they've got to take X, Y, and Z. They're caring for their parent, all these different sorts of things. They can't see. And so we got to meet these folks, again, not to wax touchy-feely, but we have to meet these folks where they are. And when we do, it makes a difference. And you don't cast aspersions on these folks any more than they would cast aspersions on you. These are your patients and your family, basically your therapeutic spouse, right? And
that's right.
You're there for life and limb, right?
Thank you so much for joining us for this discussion today. If you would like to learn more about our guests, head on over to our Patreon page where you can access exclusive content, including the full segment of our show. Never want to miss an Inside the Doctor's Lounge clip? Be sure to click the subscribe button to our MD Coach's YouTube channel. As always, we appreciate suggestions for future show topics. Let us know what you're thinking in the comments below. And finally, special thanks to Ryan Jones, who created and performs our theme music for the show.